Hello everyone, welcome to my dumbest explanation part 2. No, it is I think part 4, yes. So I will try to explain again. I will try to again explain everything in complete detail, but let's say how it goes. If you find something, if you have any suggestion for my improvement, I will love to hear from you. Just do let me know. Okay, so this is the second method, or I think the most fast and reliable or expected method of pushing all two zeros to the end of the array. Okay, sorry. It is not, it does not use uh, another loop. It just use single loop to solve the problem. So don't get confused from this. This is just for your to explain everything. Okay, so let's just start. Uh, we are defining a function here with where we are taking array as a parameter. We are getting the length of array and storing it in the array length variable. Let's call it array length for now. And we are uh, defining a count variable and which we are where we are passing zero or equalizing it to zero for now. Okay, so what you need to keep in mind that what count is exactly doing here. Okay, what is the function of count? Why are we using count? Count is doing two things. Number one, it is counting the number of variables, number of elements, number of non-zero elements in the array, and every time we have a non-zero element in the array, we increment by one. So the first thing it is doing, it is counting the non-zero elements, and the second thing it is doing, it is pointing to the next location where we can store our non-zero element, or where we can put our non-zero element. So this will become clear once I done with my explanation. So we have a loop here to that we are doing for I in range array length. Array length is here is 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, it is 8. But the loop will run from 0 to 7. Okay. So every time a loop we iterate, we check if the ith element of the array is 0 or non-zero. If it is 0, then we will do nothing and start the loop and iterate. Then we will iterate again in the loop. Or and if it is equal to 0, then we will do this functionality here. Okay, so let me just comment out all of these here so things will become a little clear. Sorry for you. So this here is the main code, that is what this code is doing here. This is a Python way to swap two elements in the array. Okay, so consider this is just a swapping function where we give two locations or two variables where we are swapping the values of these. So if there is nothing wrong if we define uh, def swap here, hashtag, what was print, let's just say, I don't know, print. So there is nothing wrong if we do something like this, and we call this swap here with these two. There's nothing wrong with this. Okay, we are just here just calling a function that can swap two the values of two variables, and this is just a Python way to do the same thing. Okay, so let's just start our loop first. Okay, so okay, let's just start. Oh, that was my wife just distracting me. Okay, so uh, let's start again. So for the first time when our loops start, I will be equal to 0, and at zeroth index we have 1. Is it non-zero? Yes, it is. Then we will add count 0. For now, the count is 0 here. Add count 0 at zeroth index, and ARR ith index, which is also 0, we will swap the values, which is 1 and 1. So nothing will happen here. We are swapping, but it will not change the array. So for the first loop, we have 1 here. Okay. And when the and on upon the second iteration, uh, so in that case, now count equals 1, because after the this condition is true, every time this condition will become true, we are incrementing in the count. Okay, so what we are doing, and now let's start the loop again. Now the now I is equal to 1, and at first index, which is one, where is the first index? This is zeroth index, this is the first index. So at first index, the value, is it equal to 0 or not? Yes, it is not equal to 0, so it is a non-zero value. Then what we will do, we'll swapping the values again. So at, because the count becomes 1 in the previous iteration, and in the this iteration I is also 1. So at 1, at position 1, at index 1 and 1, we are swapping the values, which is 2 and 2. So this will again make no change in the array. So the next value will be 2. And at the next iteration, okay, the value is non-zero. Okay, in this iteration, previous iteration count became 2. Okay, so this is telling us so far we have two non-zero values. Is it true? Yes, we have two non-zero values. So in the next iteration, we will check I will become 2. Okay, so at second index, what do we have? 0. Is it is so this 0 making this condition true? No, it is making false. So we will not go inside this block. We will just skip it and move to the next iteration. But what you have to keep in mind, that in the third iteration we have the value was 0. Okay, so we didn't get inside this code of block of code, but I during this iteration, after this iteration becomes 1, and count is still 2, because we didn't implement in the count. So count is still pointing at this location. Okay, at this location, the count is pointing at this location, and at the next iteration the I will become 3. Make sure the count is pointing at this location, and the I is becomes 3. And at third equation, at third index, do we have 0 or not 0? It is first, second, zeroth, first, second, and third index. So it is non-zero element, which is 4. Okay, so this condition will become true. Count will at count. What was count? Count was still 2. So at count, count is pointing here, and at third. index, which was here, that was I. So we had non-zero. Then what we will do at second count and third I, we will swap the values. So count was pointing at 0, I was pointing at 4. We will swap the value. Okay. So this what this will give us is 4. And at this point we have 0. Okay, we have swapped the values. Okay, where are we now? We are here now. Okay, so this thing will happen again and again. Count will point at the next position where we will place our non-zero value, and I will move next wherever I will find a non-zero value. We will replace it at the count index, which was pointing at the next uh, uh, pointing at the position of next non-zero value where we can place the next non-zero value. So at next time, what happens is because when this condition become true, count became 1 and I became count became 3 and I became 4. So at third and 4, do we have a non-zero value? So let's see count 1, sorry, I 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wait. So okay, we were here. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, and I became 5, something like that. So do we have, yes, this loop will happen again and again when we get into the code of array. The loop is again iterating again and again, and when we move further, we get just got confused in the value. So yes, this concept is where the simple concept is we will check each time that is the current index is 0 or non-zero. If it is non-zero, then we will swap the variables where count was pointing. And if it is not, we will just move next index at next index. And this will happen if we have more than 1,000 values. We still have the same correct answer. So yes, this was the simplest explanation I can give you right now, or I don't know if it was the simplest or I got you confused too with myself. So let's just see you in the next tutorial.